Hi and welcome back to the Full Cup Wellness with me, Queen VK. I've got a few tips about falling asleep for you, so stay tuned. Do you like falling asleep or do you like being asleep? There's a difference. Sometimes just the thought of going to sleep and then being stuck there in the dark with your insomnia is enough to cause insomnia. So here are some helpful tips that you can use and incorporate before bed. Tip number 1 is to reduce your core temperature and cool your body down. So when your body temperature decreases, that's a signal for you to get into the sleep mode. And you can do this by turning on your air conditioning, take off a layer of clothing, take your jumper off or take your socks off. Sometimes I sleep in really thick woolen bed socks, but they're great while you're walking on tiled floors or wooden floors, but once you get into bed, sometimes it's a bit too much. So regulate your body temperature, number 1. Tip number 2 is to start journaling, or just keep a notepad and paper next to the bed so you can just pop down any of those thoughts that are swirling around, and it's like a burden off your shoulders, like a weight off your shoulders. You don't have to remember those things anymore because they're written down and you can get to them when it's time to. But when you're trying to sleep, it's not helpful to think of those things because you can't do anything about them and you can't fix any of the issues. So just write the things you're thinking, just write them down and let them float out of your brain. Then you could drift off to sleep. Another big main reason that you might not be falling asleep is having caffeine too late in the day. Now remember that caffeine is included in a lot more foods and drinks like Coca-Cola, different soft drinks, and also chocolate. You want to make sure you don't have these things too close to bed, because the half-life of caffeine is actually, it's like 6 to 8 hours, depending on the person. It's different in every person, and different people have different sensitivities to caffeine. So if you know you're sensitive to caffeine, try to make sure you only have your caffeine before midday, and then after midday, then you allow your body to get rid of that caffeine that you had in the morning. So it breaks down slowly, which is what the half-life is. And drugs and also radioactive materials are measured in half-life, like the strength of the compound. The half of the life, no, it's too much physics. You might have to watch a different video for an explanation on half-life, but just know that it does take hours for caffeine to break down in your system. So I would only have a cup of coffee early in the morning, like before 10:30 in the morning. Tea, black tea, that has a little bit less caffeine than coffee does, and Coca-Cola and chocolate have even less caffeine than a black tea. Now, also green tea does contain caffeine, so you've got to be aware of having tea right before bed, because that can also affect your insomnia. Another interesting tip I found is that you can use aromatherapy and meditation in combination to prepare your mind for sleep and reduce your heart rate. And you want to make sure your heart rate is slowing down while you're trying to fall asleep. You don't want to become too active or agitated, or even do a workout before bed, because that will wake you back up. It will warm you up, it will make your heart rate go up. But if you have exercise and then don't know how much time between exercise and bed should be, but like allow yourself that time between exercise and bedtime to have that relaxation period, so you can slow the heart rate, drop the core temperature, and prepare for bed. I just wanted to add that aromatherapy, especially frankincense oil, is good for dropping your heart rate, and meditation, it not only allows you to slow down your thoughts, your heart rate, and your whole body, but that in turn will cool you down and drop your core temperature, so everything's just this sense of calm and slowed downness. And the final tip is sleep hygiene. You may have heard of sleep hygiene. Now, these are really healthy. So sleep hygiene is these healthy habits that you can incorporate to make sure that you're ready to go to sleep when it's time to go to sleep. For example, you don't want to be reading in bed because then your brain will associate the act of reading with falling asleep. And then every time you try to read a book, then you will start to feel sleepy, and that's the point. So you also want to utilize the circadian rhythm with your healthy habits. So going to sleep when the sun goes down and waking up when the sun comes up, that will create a pathway in your brain, like, so that you continuously, like day after day, will start waking up at the same time. And if you go to bed at the same time, you can get that habit started in your brain. I kind of picture a path, and the more times you walk over that same path over and over, then your brain finds it easier to just follow that pathway because it's already set, it's already there, ready to go. You don't have to think too much about it. So start putting yourself to bed at the same time, and then when you wake up, get out of bed at the same time. So that's a key. I think the key here is also making sure you're getting up and out of bed at the same time, rather than laying in there, sleeping in. It's all part of the sleep hygiene. So there are a lot of different good habits you can incorporate to build up your sleep hygiene. Good sleep hygiene is basically you're using your circadian rhythms. You're not doing work in bed. Don't read in bed. Don't use your laptop in bed, and try to limit screen time before bed, because there's also the blue light that can wake up your brain. That's another thing that will cause insomnia, is too much screen time before bed and allowing that blue light to wake you back up. So I count this as part of sleep hygiene because it is a good habit to turn off the screens, or you can use blue light filters, blue light sunglasses, or actual filter on your phone. There's an app that you can turn on at a certain time. It can automatically turn on for you, maybe after the sun goes down, and put that blue light filter on your phone. Because blue light is a wavelength of light that is found in sunshine, and that tells your circadian rhythm that it's time to wake up, not to go to bed. So I'd say that screens are like a really big thing we don't realize is impacting on our sleep. So take note. Thank you so much for watching. You can visit my website, thefullcupwellness.com. You can comment below with any other science videos you would like to see, or blogs you'd like me to write, and I'll look into it, do some research, and see how we go. Thank you again for watching. Bye.